Hey guys, how we doing? Look who I have here. Little pup pup. All right. So I'm gonna not on my mic. So we're gonna have a little chat today. I know that I always, take you guys with on the good, bad, and the ugly of this whole life here that we're doing, right? Um so unfortunately this video is one of those that is like not so great. So pups are 6 days old today, and they're doing amazing. Okay, so she had 14 pups. Yes, sir. Or ma'am. What are you? You're a ma'am. This is a ma'am. Um, so unfortunately, we did lose one. So we're down to 13 pups now. And this is something, having early losses is something that a lot of breeders don't talk about. Um, because it's just not fun to talk about. And some breeders don't like to admit that they have early losses. Um, but I like to talk about all the things because it's just reality, right? It's just how it is. And so if you're getting into breeding, or have just had like an accidental litter and you're trying to educate yourself, if you go online and you're trying to educate yourself and all you see is people talking about how easy it is, or how they do things so flawlessly, and if you have mistakes, then it's really easy to feel like, well, what am I doing wrong? So I like to talk about all the things. This is the most chill baby. They all are really chill, very laid back. Anyway, so what happened, and I didn't post on it right away because I just needed a little bit of time because I was just having a few days of beating up on myself. So she ended up crushing one, which is not unusual. When you have a dog that's 150 pounds and they have a huge litter of 14 puppies that are very small in comparison, some moms are very, very careful with where their babies are. Some moms are not. They'll get up, they'll lay down, they'll just throw themselves like a whale in the water, and babies can get crushed. She's a careful mom, so she tries to be very mindful of where she is and what she's doing, but accidents still happen. And I try to do everything right. I try to do everything by the book. I try to be very careful about what I'm doing. I mean, the whelping box is literally next to my bed. Like, I'm pretty much sleeping in it with her. I'm a very light sleeper. So, like, now at almost a week old, I think I had like a full night's sleep last night. Otherwise, initially, puppies are crying, whining, making noise. And so every time they do that, I would pop up, do a puppy count to make sure no one was getting crushed. We also have something called a pig rail around the side, which is like an elevated rail. It's like 4 inches up off the ground, so that if puppies do get wedged in a corner or against the wall, mom can't squash them, right? Um, and so, like, there's nothing else that you can do any better. Like, there's no way that you can be more careful than literally sleeping almost inside the whelping box, getting up every time they make a noise, having the pig rail. Like, there's very little you can do aside from keeping the puppies away from mom and just putting them in there to nurse and stare at them, which is like no way for them to be raised either. So, yeah. So at some point, she laid on the one and it didn't make enough noise to where I heard anything. And unfortunately, it just got smothered. So now we're down to 13. So, not easy. Like, that's a hard thing to have to go through. And if I ever get to the point in doing this where that stuff doesn't bother me, then it's time for me to get out. Or if I ever get to a point in doing this where I'm like, well, there's another however many $1,000 down the drain that I just lost, it's time to get out. Like, if I ever get that callous or that cold about it. So I felt real bad. and spent a lot of time like beating myself up over it. How did I let this happen? What kind of terrible owner am I to allow this to happen? And then I realized, okay, so if a friend came to me, a fellow breeder, who I do have other friends that are livestock guardian dog breeders and just dog breeders in general, like what would I say to them if this happens? Would I say to them, way to go, you dropped the ball on this one? No, I would be compassionate and say, you know what, accidents happen. You can't control everything. This is how nature is. So maybe I should talk to myself with that kind of kindness. So yeah. I do have a question though for those out there who, other breeders. Um, so like dogs in the wild that do this, that whelp out in the wild, and I'm talking specifically like a livestock guardian dog, like the Anatolian Shepherd is an ancient breed of dog. And there's plenty of them around the world that are still whelping in like their native ways, right? Digging dens for themselves and having their pups there. How do they not crush them then? Or does that inevitably happen and that's just nature? I'm just curious. And I'm curious like what the success rate is if they're raised out there and really hands off. I'm just curious like what the statistics are in that. Um, and it's food for thought in the fact that when we're breeding anything, we want the strongest to survive. That's the law of nature. So in a situation like that, if mom lays on a pup, if it's strong enough, can it crawl away? Is that how you then have only the strongest that are surviving in this? This is very interesting to me to think about these things and wonder how it happens. So yeah, this is a little girl that's doing amazing. And so tomorrow they'll be a week old, so they'll get weighed again. And at 1 week, I like to try to get individual pictures of everybody. They're awful pictures. They're terrible. It's like trying to get newborn pictures of baby humans. It's not easy. So, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try. And 90% of them look identical. I think there's like one or two in the litter that are just a little bit lighter shade of body color, but yeah. So, but yeah, this is literally how chill they all are and kind of how chill they should stay, because I work with them constantly every day and lay them on our back, and we do the early neurological stimulation with them, which I'll do another video on that to kind of make really chill pups. Because if you do this stuff with them every day, they just get used to it. If they're used to being put on their back every day, if they're used to having their little paws and toes played with every day, then it's never a big deal. So then you end up with adult dogs that are like, I don't mind having my feet played with. I don't mind having my ears played with. I don't mind having my nails clipped. Like literally a very happy little pup. So anyway, some crummy news, but just kind of how it is. Let me see if I can get you. Like, look at this little face. Look at look at its little tongue sticking out. That's a cute puppy. All right, guys. We'll talk again soon.